Hello and welcome to Roosevelt Rebel with your host Tisa Rebel Beltran. All right, this is the third and final time that I'm starting this podcast. Every time that I try to start, or I do start, then all of a sudden everybody and their mother starts texting me. And I do mean that because I mean my mother and other people's mothers, like my sisters are mothers. And no. And my best friend. So anyhow, welcome. It's been a while. Did I talk to you about Taylor Swift night? If I did not, it was amazing. And I met a new friend, and she was so fun, and it was a great time. If you go to OG_TR Beltran, there's some videos of that night. The girl in the picture is not the friend that I met. That is my friend who I go to basketball games with and do things with because she's fun and we just have a good time and she doesn't judge me because I tell her everything. And my headphones are bothering me. So, but I'm meeting a lot of new people and it's been a lot of fun, like meeting people and being friends with people and having new friends and having old friends. I wanted to discuss some stuff about friendships. I wanted to discuss that you should never date anybody or who doesn't have their own friends. And also, if they have one friend, but that friend doesn't live in the same state, that is a red flag. Because if the person can't have friends, then something is wrong. If everybody that they met are your friends, there's an issue there. Just like in general for dating or other things. If they don't have family members that live in this, that I don't know how to explain it. There's just some red flags that I'm learning about, or have learned about. We're just going to keep this on a semi-personal level. I'm not going to be discussing a lot of personal things because my lawyers and paralegal for certain things said not to. So there's that. I went to the Laughlin this weekend with the family and it was a good time. It was for my mother's birthday. I went to Taylor Swift night. What have I done? I've done a lot of things. Janet Jackson. I was supposed to go to some other concerts, but like, it was hot and I didn't want to. You know how that is where it's like, I'm sorry. I love the music, but I'm not going to fucking put myself through that. This weekend I'm going to see Jason Mraz with somebody that I met and it's going to be fun. We're going to meet up and go have pizza, wings, and a couple drinks before we go. And then, so I'm pretty excited about that, but that's on Sunday. On Saturday, I'm meeting my sisters. 3 of them. One of them cannot go or decided she didn't want to go. I don't know. And we're going to go see the Barbie movie with this group and they rented out the theater. So we're going to go and do that. A lot of fun things are happening and going on. This past weekend for Laughlin, it was a good time. Did I already say that? I'm not sure because this is the third time that I'm starting over because everybody's texting and they're a distraction and I'm like not looking at my phone right now. Because we're planning all our plans for all these plan. So anyhow, that's what's been going on. A lot of fun and I'm pretty excited about everything. Is this for real? Is this for real? The reason, there's so many things going on. I don't even know how. Here's the thing. on the nights that I'm like, I'm just going to relax and watch TV and chill out, or nights I should apparently be doing the podcast, because tonight when I'm like, oh, I'm going to do the podcast, then everybody decides to, hey, let's fucking text and like fucking make plans for the rest of our lives. You know what I mean? Has that ever happened to you? Finger crossed. I'm gonna take a little yawn. One moment, please, while I do this. Hold on. Oh my god. What is... Okay, I can't find the pause button. There we go. Hold on. Thank you for holding while I yawned. Just so many things are going on, and there's like so many plans. I enjoy that we are being social again and doing things, and because the pandemic really fucked a lot of people up, and even being in Laughlin this past weekend, I would get in the elevator with people, and then if a person was coughing, I was like, fuck. And, there's just still a lot of fear instilled in us because of the pandemic, because also, we did lose people in my family, like a lot of people. And, we haven't really grieved those people. For one, I was in Colorado when one of my uncles passed away. Well, two of them, my godfather and my uncle, passed away a week within each other. And my godfather, we had a funeral for him in the beginning of the year, but my uncle, we didn't. They had the funeral for him during the pandemic, and live screened it. And one of my friends passed away from an overdose during the pandemic, and it's just so strange, and somebody deleted his profile, and it's just... So, anyways, I'm not going to get all emotional about the death of our people, but so it's hard to... We haven't really grieved these people who have passed, and sometimes we feel like they're still there, or they're just, just missing the dinner. They're at home. So it's good, and I'm happy that we're going out and about and doing things and celebrating things again, and we really need to start doing it more. We need a sense of community, and like concerts bring that sense of community back. Definitely has. I've been going to so many concerts this year and have so many more planned. And, that sense of community of everybody singing to the songs and dancing and having a good fucking time. Like, that is getting back to normalcy. Within my family, it hasn't really gotten back to normalcy, and I want to get there. Every Saturday night, we used to go to Garcia's before the pandemic, and we'd have dinner, the whole family, and we'd go and eat, and then we'd go into the bar, and we'd play the jukebox all night long, and dance and drink, and had a good time. And I really feel this is the original Garcia's, you guys. It's not the fake name Garcia's with the roses and la 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 la. Like, they're all over the United States now, I think. But this is the original. This is where the name came from. They sold the name. I wonder how much they sold the name for. I feel like they didn't do it. They should have waited out. I don't know. But anyways, they sold the name to the Garcia's group, or whatever the hell they are. But this is the original Garcia's. It started in Phoenix, Arizona, and that's where we go. We used to go every single Saturday for years. Years, I tell you. And then the pandemic came, and my family stopped going, of course, because it was the pandemic and everything was closed and nothing opened and everything like that. And now that they opened up again, but they still closed really early. A lot of places are still closing early. I really think that stores should become 24 hours again, like Walmart. Because also I think that stores should stay open a little bit later, because I need to go get water from the water and ice store to fill up my water, and they close at like 8, and I get off at 7:30. But anyway, so the world is getting kind of back to normalcy a little bit, but I can't. I know it's not going to be the same, but we can try to get a little bit closer to the normal that we remember. Um, like I said, the concerts are there, and I just need it in my family because a lot of the kids don't know their other cousins, and that's hard. I grew up with all of my cousins and knowing my cousins and always partying, always together, always doing things. And now we're not. The pandemic really stopped. But I'm going to start it up again, and it's going to be fun. I want my nephews to know their other cousins and, learn their fucking other tias names and learn their faces. And I know it's hard when you're little to remember everybody's names and faces because I remember growing up with my mom's 7 brothers and sisters and not remembering every single one of them, but eventually did. You fucking do eventually. So, my family is always together, the immediate, but there needs to be more. And I'm just going to start it, I think. I think some of the family members are like tired from their long lives. But I'm at the age where I'm like, dudes, I need to have my own fucking thing every Saturday, every weekend, or at least every other weekend, or once a month to celebrate our family. Even though a lot of us don't drink and party, I think we could still get together and have tea or something, or cafecito, We could be all the señoras and drink some coffee. I truly believe in it. And I think that I'm going to be proactive in that because that is a huge part of our culture is togetherness and family. And I'm in my señora stage, right? I am. Think about it. I've always been about my cafecito, but I am also all about my plants and always have been because I'm a fucking bruja. So, you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. This has turned into how much I love my culture podcast, I guess, this episode. Because I do love my culture and I love my people. And I love celebrating other cultures as well. I'm going to tell you something. I just watched a show, Survival of the Thickest, and I feel like the blacks and Mexicans have so many similarities within their communities, especially with white passing or lighter skinned people. I don't know. It was such a good show. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I think it was on Netflix. I'm not too sure. But it was a really, really good show. Really good. Really good. Man, you guys, oh my god, I love the show. It's like my favorite show. I finished it like so quickly. But check it out. Yeah. So, anyhow, I know that this year has been a crazy one, and I haven't really kept up with the podcast because I'm going to be completely serious. I don't know if I said this already, but every time I make a plan to make a podcast, everybody starts texting. But on the nights that I don't plan anything and I'm like just relaxing, no, I should do it. But then what if it feels like there's a catch, whatever. Was it catch 21? I think so. But anyhow, everybody wants to love. At this point, I'm just going to say it. The Mercury won and I'm happy. All right. So, I will get more into another episode at a later time about our culture, my culture, not yours probably, and just the way that we are and need to continue to be and to hold up our traditions. And also, I had a discussion with one of my friends. Dayo, if you're listening, shout out to you. I love you. We were discussing generational trauma and communication and how a lot of our parents didn't teach us how to effectively communicate. And because they didn't know how to effectively communicate. And, the reason why I'm so about these things is because I was taking psychology and I learned these things. So the science has proven to us things. Our parents didn't know how to do things because they didn't know. There's no rules. There wasn't anything, but because the science is now there, I think I've said this before. The science is there now that says what is the right and wrong way to do things, but not really in the way of the right or wrong ways, but mostly like the healthy ways, which you can perceive as unhealthy. For example, yesterday, my mom was talking to my godson, and he said, "Why can't I blank?" I don't even remember what it was. And she said, "Because I said so." And he said, "That is not an explanation, Nana." And I said, "Mom, he is right." I said, "You need to have an explanation on why he is unable to do blank." I don't remember what it was. And I said, so I was talking to Dale about it, and I said, our parents didn't know what the hell they were doing. They were only taught from their parents. And so I am not upset with my parents about the way that they raised me or what they didn't do or what they did do, because they didn't know any better, because they did what they were taught and what they saw. And a lot of fucking people are like, you need to never speak to your parents again and do. And my parents didn't do anything wrong. They didn't know any better, or they just did the best that they could. I don't know how to explain it. They did the best that they could, and I see that, and I know that. My parents are amazing parents. They did everything that they could for us. They took care of us. They made sure we had a roof over our heads, food in our belly. Like, they took care of us. They gave us what we needed. They didn't overdo. And, but there are certain generational things that are affecting a lot of Hispanic people and other people as well. In general, oh my God, I saw this amazing interview. I think it was on MeToo or something like that. Something on Instagram, where they were discussing, generational trauma, but not knowing that it was trauma. Just like, okay, here it is. I remember. We were taught to be comfortable in what we are and do what we can to survive. But we were never taught to try to achieve more. We were just taught to survive. So that is something that is a generational thing that we're working on. So for myself, I was just taught, okay, so I was like growing up, and I said I wanted to become a musician. I wanted to be a famous musician. I want to work on that. And I did work on it for a very long time until I made the decision that family was more important than that, because back then it was really hard to have both, because we didn't have the technology that we did. This is only like, 20 years ago, 22, 23 years ago. But we didn't have the technology back then where we could keep in contact with our families the way that they are. We just had the phones. We didn't have like video chatting and shit like that. Like, not really. So I had to make a decision. I could continue this music life that I was doing. I was fucking singing and doing those things, or I could have had this family that I had. I chose the family. My family was more important. Raising my daughter and my I hate the word partner so much. You guys don't even know. My girlfriend. They were the important things in my life. So what did I do? I stopped. I still continued writing and singing, but I also focused more on taking care of my family. And that's what I did. But as a younger person, my mom and dad were like, I was like, I want to be a famous musician. And they were like, well, you need something to fall back on. So just do that. So they did something good there. They were like, you need to fall back on something. But I never eventually could get to the falling back part because I was too busy taking care of my family. I was just surviving. So it was hard to get ahead. And a lot of fucking people don't realize that it was hard to get ahead when we're barely surviving. And so, I am proud to see, like, my brother, not my brothers, my sister, one of my sisters, she has kids that are not only surviving, they're not just only surviving, they're actually getting ahead. So, that things are changing. That's all I'm saying. Oh, I guess this is turning into the podcast of fucking talking about our generational family, Mexicans doing this. And it even goes for blacks as well. I guess it could go for everybody, but like I'm talking about my experience and my family. And so at one point in my life, I was talking to somebody and I said, you know what? I don't make plans far in advance. I don't have these kind of dreams because every time that I would try to achieve them, I would get knocked down. And that person was very privileged and things were handed to them. And so they could not understand where I came from, where I was like, I'm not going to dream big like that. I'm just dreaming as big as I can of like, I hope I have a good Christmas. I hope I can afford a birthday present for somebody. Like these were like my things. And, so they didn't comprehend what I was saying because they were like, let's go to this fucking famous country, big country. And I was just like, they're like, where do you want to go? And then I had to explain them. This is something that we never discussed in my family because we were not wealthy people. We made it, like we got by, like we weren't poor. We were middle class for like the 80s, which now is like poor. Like so sad to say that, but that's the way it is. Like we got by. Sometimes we're not going to get into it, but, keeping my focus here. Thank you. We got by, we did what we could, we survived. And so what we should want for our children now are not only surviving, but getting more. So for myself, I get asked questions a lot. Like, what are your plans? Like, a lot of people don't really ask that anymore, Like, what are your plans? What do you see yourself 5 years from now? Not being dead, hopefully. I guess, like, what are within my friend group, we discuss about, like, our future plans and what we're doing. And because of the pandemic, I feel like mostly everything is in the now. So how, as a Latina, can I be like, I'm thinking about the future and trying to fucking work towards the future when we just got through a pandemic and we're still only thinking about the now? I'm living for now. I am surviving for now. So that's something I'm going to fucking think about. And in the next episode, I will fucking discuss it. I will fucking do that. because I do have this whiteboard that I write plans on. And every time Dylan comes into my room, my godson, he says, "This is your plan? This is your plan?" And I'm like, "Yes, that's my plan." And he gets a little upset about them because they don't include him in a sense. But they will include him. He doesn't comprehend that yet. But anyhow, so I do have this whiteboard where I write things upon that I'm like, this is what I want to accomplish. Because of my ADHD, that is something that I do now because my friend was like, "Hey, you should probably get that whiteboard and put it where you see it so you can remember all the shit you need to do." And I was like, "That's a good idea. I already have my planner that I write everything in, but I don't, like, I see it, but then I don't see it." So, like, I use my planner for, like, my concerts and, my, important things that you write down in a planner, like my concerts, birthdays, my schedule for work, and then this whiteboard is like my future goals. It's like to keep me on fucking point. And like, I'm even had to go to the point to where I have to write down stuff on my notebook for work. Cause like I always forget. Every Tuesday I'm supposed to have this thing at noon and I always forget it. Even last week I talked to my supervisor and I was like, "I have this 3 times tomorrow." And I always write it down. I said on Tuesdays I always have it at noon and I always forget about it. And even though me mentioning it and saying I'm going to write it down, I still forgot the first session. So anyway, I have goals. I have plans. Being a Latina, I need to fucking invest into that more and see, and I'm going to write about it, how it can come about for us to stop living, well, no, not so much living in the now, but like, how are we going to start thinking about the future and making it a bigger thing? You know what I mean? I hope you understand what I'm saying. If not, I apologize. No, I don't. I'm not apologizing for that. But anyhow, I must go now because I have to text a bunch of people back about our plans. This person messaged me 40 minutes ago, and I feel like a douche canoe. Oh yeah. What's today's date? I'm pretty excited for my turtles because I'm getting a little off the subject over here about Latina and culture, whatever. I'm getting so excited. My turtles are so gigantic. I'm going to tell you that. When I bought them, I could pick them both up with one hand. Not at the same time, but I could pick one up with one hand and the other up with one hand. Now, they're so big that I have to use 2 hands to pick pick one of them up. They've gotten that big. I'm very upset about their tank being dirty so quickly. I need to figure out what it is. I don't know if this was because this is my 3rd time starting this podcast, so I don't know if this was the one where I was complaining about it, but I cleaned it only a week ago tomorrow. It's going to be a week yet tomorrow. And like, it's just not staying clean and I don't know why. But I'm getting them a little turtle thing that connects to the top of the cage so that they can crawl up into it and go and bask in there. So, that's coming. It was supposed to be here Thursday, but now they're saying that it's not coming until some other time. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and end this podcast because I have to text people back and make my plans for my future. See, this is what the future is withholding. It's not withholding. The future is holding for me. This weekend I have so many plans, and then in November I have plans. That's what these plans are being made that people are texting me about. So I need to work on better future plans. And so that's what I said. So the next episode I will fucking be writing. That's what I'll do after, what time is it? After I'm done texting everybody, I'll start writing a little thing about that. And that's a good homework for myself to get back into writing Because I try to get back into writing, because I have so much to say musically. So we're gonna see how that goes. I need to schedule that because starting next week, my life is going to be changing because I'm starting a program, and then school is also starting up again. So I need to get my shit together. I need to find out when school starts. All right. On that note, yeah, that's what it is. My name is Tisa Rebel Beltran. Thank you for tuning in to Roosevelt Rebel. I'll be seeing you soon, hopefully sooner than later. Check me out on the socials. I do post almost every day on Instagram, so check that out at OG_TR Beltran. And then I get bored at work, so I do a lot of TikToks. And if you follow me, it's Thug_Sunshine. Oh, I'm just waiting for some paperwork to come through, and I'm gonna fucking make an announcement about something. It's gonna be great. Forgot all about it until I said that. Okay, thank you for tuning in. My name is Tisa Rebel Belchan, and I'll be seeing you soon. I have great announcements coming up, and I will be writing about this other stuff. The Latin culture, and how we're just there to survive. Some of us make plans. Yeah. But we also are, sometimes I feel like we're just surviving anyway, like no matter. All right. Thank you. See you soon. Bye-bye.